Okay, so to go a little bit back to the buyer's side of things. So the other thing that needs a lot of work is the co-op side of things from the buyers. The growers can kind of, it's really obvious to growers what you're doing for them. You're selling their veg, you know. It does take a bit more work to get the buyers to understand what the advantage is for them. And one thing that they really do like, and that we've really pushed, and that they really want to get involved in, is that contact that they have with the growers. It's like, you know, selling it to them as if they're having their own personal grower who's going to like grow what they ask, kind of thing, grow to order. And they really like that, and they love doing the chef's visit and that side of things. So you have to it does take a lot of work, and you're working with restaurants, and both sides of the co-op are incredibly busy. It's really, really difficult to get hold of people. It's difficult to get everyone to a meeting at the same time, because the growers are working in the day, the restaurants are working in the evening. How do you get everyone together at the same time? It's kind of, it is a lot of work, that side of things, but it's important to put that work in. You need to get that kind of, and we're still learning, and we're still working it out, and we're still kind of working on that. But yeah, and the other main thing, because we do have to get people to sign up to a membership agreement. So we've got a membership agreement. We've got a set of rules which we can send out if you guys are interested. And when you read through the membership rules, it can sound quite scary to the buyers. Like, it's a commitment to buy, a commitment to kind of buy regularly, and a commitment to stick with the amounts you said you'd buy in the crop planning as well. So it can look quite scary. It's really important to have a clear joining process. So we let people try it out for a month, doing cash on delivery before they become a member, and you kind of like reel them in a bit and kind of work on them and get them to, because it's so different from working with a wholesaler. It's different. One of the things they're not used to as well is the longer leading time. So because we pick to order, so a wholesaler is going to have the stuff in the back, and if you ring them at 11 that night, they can get it to you the next morning. We can't do that. We get orders on a Tuesday, and it's picked today, and then it's delivered tomorrow. So people have got to be thinking a little bit ahead. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to that. You know, if there's a mistake made, then you can't go back to the warehouse and get some more. You know, if you're short of something, it's like, yeah.
Sorry, do you have a technology to help coordinating orders, deliveries?
My brain and a spreadsheet.
And how do you manage the, if someone wants 2 boxes of beetroot and then there's only one, if you phone up a farm or something and there's been an odd place and they're meant to have it but they don't, is it just ringing them back?
Yeah,
and saying?
and people are surprisingly okay about it. I mean, they can always get it somewhere else, so it doesn't make that much odds for them. It's just annoying for us because we've not sold something. But people are pretty understanding because they know it's local. They know the weather issues. They've met the growers. They kind of understand a bit more about it. So it is, as they kind of get. As they've been part of the co-op a bit longer, they kind of get to understand these sort of things. And we've never had any big disagreements. So.
And you changed it, didn't you? Because there was a bit where we'd have a certain amount and everyone would want it. Because we did develop an online ordering system, but because there's not, basically, if the university went on an order, there'd be nothing left for everyone else. So it was just like this, we need to have tools for small buyers, and we want to. That's the whole point. So then there was a bit of time where you tried to do it where you split it evenly a bit more.
That was a really bad idea. So
now it's sort of first come first served. So when you ring them, it's there and then they'll go, oh, have you still got this on the list? And you just go, no, this is what we've got on the list. So we've now got to the point where it's like they know when you don't have to ring them back and go, oh, sorry, there isn't that actually. You're just saying this is what's now available.
We were trying to
So do you ring around all the farmers then before the Tuesday and say, what have you got?
Yeah. So I get everybody's availability for the following week on a Wednesday, and I send the list out on a Wednesday afternoon. And then yeah, that goes out by email, and then the buyers are meant to get in touch with me and order stuff, but basically I end up ringing them because they're not. You have to chase them for orders. You have to invest a lot of time in getting people to. They're not. You have to kind of. You can't just leave it up to them to order it because you wouldn't get any orders. So that's kind of how it works with the buyers and the growers practically. I think we've said a little bit about. So Kiara does talk about like the location and land accessibility and that sort of stuff. We've spoken a little bit about that and about going from 30 miles to 50 miles radius. I think one thing that probably is important to do is to start off by working with established growers. You need to get the business off the ground. And you need to develop the market and you need to get it up and running, and I think you need to do that before you start trying to work with new growers or small community gardens who are wanting to become commercial or that sort of side of things, because you've got to get a reliable supply first. So we've gone. So all our growers are experienced growers, apart from now we're just starting to get the produce from Farm Start, which are these new growers on the quarter-acre plots. And that's the way round to do it, I think.
Have you ever had any quality issues with any of the supply?
Very, very rarely. There's just one grower who we have sometimes had problems with. But
and do you do the quality control yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and that is another. We do trust the growers to do it for us, mainly because they're dropping stuff off. They're dropping the stuff off on Wednesday night, and I get there on Thursday morning. And if there's something wrong with it on Thursday morning, all I can do is apologise, and I can't get a replacement for it. So it is about working really closely with the growers and making sure they understand what the quality you're expecting is. But basically all our growers do, and they're all really awesome growers. And then just in terms of the last two things I was going to just quickly chat about is the distribution and the pricing structure. And I think we've covered a lot of the distribution stuff, like how it's different to wholesalers, and working out your kind of catchment area is quite difficult because it's kind of, you don't want to say no to customers when they're coming, and we've taken on a few customers that are kind of going right down into Stockport and just slightly into Cheshire, just because that seems to be that's where the money is and that's where people want to buy the veg. So you kind of have to be a bit flexible with that. But you do need to keep an eye on how much it's costing you to kind of do that delivery. And also that's going to have an impact on how you fit all the deliveries in, because you're driving quite long distances. And now we're getting longer. It's taking me now from 6 to 12 to do all the deliveries. And in this hot weather, you need to start thinking about refrigerated vans and how the produce is surviving and all that sort of stuff. And then
you mentioned there was a box scheme involved at the beginning, and you were using them for some distribution. They're no longer a client, or you no longer see that as a good channel for distribution? Or?
I don't know. They haven't got. Well, their van isn't big enough for a start, and they're doing. They just wouldn't. We basically. It would be too difficult to fit around their deliveries.
They were never a customer. They got involved in helping setting up, just like Unicorn did.
Right.
And then actually the person who was running that box scheme became a coordinator with Katie and helped set up and coordinate, manage the veg people. And is now a grower, so he's been through all of the different. But yeah, they were never a customer because they already buy direct from the growers, and they buy enough. They would go out to the growers to buy. So it was just that they then helped us with the school thing, and they had the van, but they were never in a.
Is that still successful, or the box scheme?
They've actually just merged with another box scheme.
Right. For good reasons or bad?
Who knows? Who knows?
The box schemes are struggling or being
I
successful?
don't know, you'd have to ask them. I mean, I still get a box from them, and it's nice.
Right.
That's successful. But yeah, they've never, that new box scheme has never worked with us, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are last thing on distribution. We basically borrow a van at the moment from one of our growers. And we pay them mileage. But yeah, we're totally reaching the limits logistically of what we can do. So we need our own van. We're sharing some cold store space, and there's not enough space. So yeah, we've got it going by like borrowing stuff basically, and by kind of sharing and borrowing and begging stuff off other people. But you get to a stage where you need to get your own stuff. So, and then the last thing I was just going to say about the pricing structure was that it's very complicated. And we're still working on that, really, but yeah.
How do you pack it?
How do I pack it? So we've got, this is another thing, crates. God, it's really difficult to get. We have like plastic crates that we reuse, and buyers are meant to give them back to us, but they go walking. So yeah, we spent a lot of money on crates, and also biodegradable bags to line them, so the veg goes in the bag in the crate, they're meant to. We're meant to reuse all that. So, but it just.
Can I talk about pricing structures?
Yes.
Because you just mentioned that briefly.
Yeah.
How do you can you just go how you sort of start? Like, do you just talk to
So,
the growers? Like,
yeah. There's
how
like.
many hours is it?
Yeah, there's two. We're working on it with the two founder grower members mainly,
Right.
and those are the guys who are most committed to kind of getting it sorted. And they've developed a spreadsheet which basically you put everything into. So you have to. So it's difficult because they have to note down how many hours they're spending on each crop,
Yeah.
and all the inputs that have gone into that, and then it all goes into the spreadsheet, and then you work it out.
It must be different for like all the different growers
Yeah.
as well.
yeah. So we're coming up against lots of like, as soon as you think you're getting close, you come up against a new issue. So like all our growers were smallish, and then we took on this guy who's big. So then you've got different economies of scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is really complicated, but yeah, we'll keep
But do
working
you
on it.
do you take it from the other side as well and think, well, actually, what will people pay from the buyer's point of view at all?
When we first did it, because basically Levelands, who were one of the first ones involved, before the people who are running it now, the woman Leslie who set it up kept really amazingly detailed plans, because that's how I got into it all, because I was still looking at her stuff. I'm just going, oh my God, none of your crops, like most of your crops don't cover the costs, because she kept such detailed plans. So we had that to start with. Like,
Was that because as well, like one of the reasons that because she was spending all the time doing those
Yeah.
No, listen, she did that at night. I don't think she bothered sleeping. But no, I think, because I think once you have the thing set up, I think it's actually quite easy to use. It's just, then then we got all the growers together and did this sort of workshop of how do we look at pricing, and then people were like, well, hang on a minute, do you do it by square metre, and what happens if you do two, if you use that square metre twice, and how do you work it out? So that's what we're going to go back and look at over the winter now, because it then just got too much and everyone's like, okay, hang on, we have to spend our time doing other stuff and growing stuff and whatever. But the idea is, originally we were like, we'll just have a little formula and then everyone can add their stuff in and it will come out with the magic price. And then what will happen is that the little, and this did work, was that some of the smaller growers were growing kale, and then they compared their costings to some of the bigger growers growing kale, and they went, oh God, we should just stop growing kale or whatever, because it cost them loads of money, whereas the big grower could do it with big machinery. And so it will help you. I'm still slightly obsessed with getting the pricing structure right, because I think once we get it, everyone will be able to use it and it'll be easy. It's just getting that bit. And it is like starting to think about using your, like depreciation, and I wouldn't even dream of doing that as a grower. You never even cover your own wages, never mind start thinking of your machinery, but it's like, well, we have to. So starting to think that, and then what we did when we first did that, we came up with some prices, added the levy on, and then compared it to other people's prices. And we didn't change them because that is what it costs, but we just looked at how we thought that would go down. And actually for things like for the buyers we're going with, because none of them were buying organic to start with, it kind of didn't matter that it didn't compare, if you see what I mean. And for actually some of the prices it did compare, because because we try and not go as up and down with the market, because we don't look at, if you see what I mean. Well, that's the theory. In theory,
Yeah.
we will have our price that's based on cost rather than going up and down the market, so we will be a bit more stable.
Oh, okay.
That's the theory.
But
So we won't go
also
up
the
just
cost
because
change
it's up.
from a grower's point of view, depending on like
It
weather and
does,
stuff like that.
it
Yeah.
does, but that's the point, is that you
Yeah.
will reflect that, like you'll be able to explain it, rather than just going, well, the market price has gone up, so we're...
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, it's had to go up because
Yeah.
we haven't...
Yeah.
Like, so that's the future, one of the big things we really want to get right, that we haven't got right. That we hope, you know, we'll hope will be amazing and useful to everyone. But, you know,
But one of the
so if anyone's up for it.